kids, I mean, I don't necessarily just mean like our kids, but our kids. Like, I feel like any child in the community should be treated as my kid. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we as a community, we make up like, well, we should make up like a family. So it's like, if we're a family, we're supposed to be just how I treat my kid, or you know how like we have siblings, who have kids. Yeah, so like it's almost like how you can love them as your own. I feel like we should be like loving these kids out here as our own. So, my first question is, how can some of our battles as adults help us be more understanding to our kids?
We have to learn how to face our battles first, acknowledge what our battles like are first. We have to be willing to face out our battles because we can't help what we run away from. So that's my take. We have to be self-aware. Some people are too stubborn to say, hey, like I have like a problem. This is a battle. Some people can't admit that. So it just comes with self-awareness and accountability so that you can do so for your kids. Some people think, like I grew up in a household where parents will not apologize to no kid. I don't have too much pride to apologize. I know when I'm right and wrong. So I can apologize if I yell a little loud, or I'll be like, sit down, and then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve, for me to yell like that. Like, some people are just not really.
I agree with that. I think for me, I think that, I don't know, like I said, I think that we expect a lot from these kids, how can I expect, even a 12-year-old, how can I expect a 12-year-old to process their feelings when I don't even know how to process my feelings? Right. How can I expect them to talk about what's going on with them when sometimes I don't even talk about what's going on with me? So I think that the same grace that we want to be shown to us, I think that we shouldn't have so much pride to where we can't show that same grace to them.
And just because they're kids doesn't mean they're not entitled to express themselves. A lot of the times people silence the kids, so it's looked at disrespectful for a kid to speak up for themselves, and like that's the problem. That's why in like life-changing things and tragedies and things, kids feel silent, like they can't talk.
Right,
because they always been silent.
Right, that carries on to adulthood.
Right, and that's where generational curses create themselves. And I want to be like, even though like I don't have like kids like of my own, like I want to be able to, if I do have kids, want to instill them in like, hey, you can come and talk to me. You know what I mean? And I want them to be comfortable to a place where they can come talk to me, and that not necessarily just like my kids, but anybody, like anybody's kids, anybody, you can come to me and talk to me. I may not have all the answers, but I can like try my best to console you, try my best to, not necessarily fix your problem, but make you okay.
Work through it.
Yeah, make you okay with going through it, because I'm almost positive you're not the first person to go through whatever problem it is that you have. So.
And people don't have patience these days. People like will drop their kid off in front of like a TV or like don't interact with them. But like they'll be in the phone like all day and not even like say hi to that kid and like ask them how their day was. And
that can make such a
like
huge
that.
difference.
Like if we just sat and how was your day? Like, honey, like what's going on? How was school today? Oh well, today was really bad. And da da da. Okay,
Kids can tell when you're not genuine.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Girl,
Kids can tell when you're
let us not laugh at my daughter joke. She like.
Did you hear me?
Kids can tell when you're not genuine.
Yeah.
If you're looking at your phone, right, and you're just like, how was your day? They're
they feel like they're bothering you. And sometimes, like even myself, like sometimes I get like overwhelmed because I'm doing like so much working, caring for the kids. So I gotta hear like the fighting, the screaming. So sometimes I get so overwhelmed that like I have to like catch myself, like come on, like let's watch a movie, or let's go out and do something, like let's bond together. Like
But I do think it's okay to look at a kid and be like, listen, give me one moment. Let me finish what I'm doing so I can focus on you.
But
Right.
but like that though, because sometimes we could be like, hey yo, like we can like yeah, you know.
Hey, listen, I'm the first one to admit it. I'm a mama for it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit with a, can you please leave me alone right now?
Yeah. Sensory overload.
It's not that I'm trying to hurt your feelings, but like when you've got 4 kids and it's really like just coming, it's like, okay, there's been many times where I've sit there like this, and my oldest would go, Mommy's in a mood, leave her alone.
Mommy's
He's 6.
oh, okay.
He's 6. He's like, Mommy's, leave her alone, she's getting angry. It's like, I hate that my kids know that, but at the same time I love that because they don't understand that I do have boundaries. My oldest can now direct the other kids like, hey, he's picking up on signs from other people.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So I think it is okay to say, hey, give me one moment.
Yeah.
Let me finish this, get my thoughts collected so I can pay attention.
Yeah, but it's not like sometimes it's not like what we say is how.
That's what I was
like we
Yes.
said. The biggest thing sometimes,
Yes.
like even in those moments of being like overwhelmed, like we have to.
Guilty.
Yeah, we have to just be like,
Guilty.
and we have to learn to like apologize. Like
Yes.
kids deserve apologies too. Like
How are you gonna expect your kid to apologize if you can't give me an example?
Yeah. And I think all that really like ties into like the next question, like how can we show our kids that we're really in tune with their feelings while balancing our day-to-day life.
it's very important as parents that like we set out time, even if it's 5 minutes throughout the day for ourselves. Like people say, oh, well, when the kids are in school, like you can do this, that, and the third. No, you still have a house to clean up for them to mess up when they
Dinner
when
to
they get
plan.
in. You still have dinner, like you're dealing
Grocery
with
shopping, laundry.
right appointments, everything. Like the job never stops. It's just balancing and making that time to decompress, so that way you can be in a better like place for them. That self-care like is very like important. Even if it's just let me just read a few pages of this book, like something to yourself. Because as parents, like so much of your day goes to like spouses or boyfriends, girlfriends, like your time goes to everybody else. You can't forget about you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that one of the hardest struggles as being a parent, and I'm just speaking like from the outside looking in, is time management. Like learning how to manage your time. You know, I think yes, of course we need like time like for ourselves and stuff like that. But how do you make that time when you got so much like on your plate? Like how do you manage that into life, like your life? And like if when you become a mom, like people say, when you become a parent, you pretty much give up your life, pretty much.
You gain a new life. You give up your old life, the life that you had without kids, and you build a new life with your kids. A lot of people say that, like, yeah, your life stops when you have kids. No, it doesn't. It just begins.
You know, I was gonna say that means they're just coming at it at honestly a wrong angle.
Yeah, because like
You gotta
drinking
come
and
in as
partying and
positive.
stuff like that, no. Like people made fun of me because my kids were out the country. Like any trip that I went on, like my children went on. My children are gonna see what I see. People always judge, like they're not gonna remember that. They are when they see the photos and they see how happy like they were. They may not remember like exactly what's going on, but when they look at these pictures and things, they'll feel it like in here.
Yeah.
So it's just like people have to change their way of thinking. Like my biggest thing for like me right now is I'm changing the way that I think. I'm changing the way that I react. And I'm changing the way that I process. And I'm allowing myself to process. Like we get in a habit where we just shove stuff out and we just keep going and keep going and keep going. And all that like sits in here. And then it goes downhill. Like we start getting mean, angry. Like we have to learn how to just decompress and like change the way we're thinking. And as we change and grow with our thinking, that can help better us as parents.
I think a lot of us were told not to process things. Just keep moving.
I can agree with that. I that, but I was made to feel that.
Yes.
You know, like even like growing up like in a household like with my dad, and I think that I don't blame him at all. I just think that just was like how he grew up.
Right.
So he kind of like how you grow up. That's like you kind of it's force of habit. Like you don't necessarily mean to, but sometimes you do teach that to your children unintentionally. And I think he taught us to be just like in his eyes strong. And sometimes that's not strong. Being strong is not pushing stuff off.
Sometimes
being able to be weak.
Right, being vulnerable could be the strongest time of your life.
And see, like that's not me. You know, I don't like being vulnerable. I don't like
crying in front of people.
I'm saying I don't like doing that because at the end of the day, I feel like that makes me weak.
Yep.
You know, I was taught that makes me weak. You know, so it's kind of difficult to not like if you grew up in that, it's kind of difficult not to train your child that same way.
But look at this though. Like it's so the hardest thing is to let yourself be weak. The easiest thing is to keep it bottled up. The true
so
strength
crazy.
comes from letting yourself be in that state. So sometimes that persona of keeping it in is being strong. Like that's no. Allowing yourself to like experience these emotions and get through them. Like that's the true test of like being strong.
Yeah, but that's not a overnight thing, and for somebody like myself, it takes time. Like you may fall back into those habits. Like even when you're trying, like you may fall back into those habits, and you look for people to be patient with you. You know,
Yeah, but to fail is to not try. Like you at least have to give yourself a fair chance. A lot of the times we don't give ourselves a chance. Like it starts with a change, and this is why like generational curses continue, because nobody is strong enough to say, "Hey, I'm going to break this. I'm going to change this." Some people don't even want to because they're stuck in living in a habit.
They don't see anything wrong with
For sure. So like all in all, like how do y'all feel like we could not just give ourselves a break, but how do you feel like we can give our kids a break? Like
I try to do something for my kids, and it doesn't have to be something that costs money, but every week or so I try to let them do a craft or something like that. Or if they need a moment, like let them go like play on their tablet or play a game or something. Like I let them do something like for themselves because it's very important. Like it's very, very, very important for them to do things for themselves and bonding like together. So
do y'all feel like kids need a break?
yes, it's hard being a kid these days. You don't know the battles that these kids are going through, especially in school. Kids experience bullying. The teachers and things are not showing the same love as like some teachers were back then. So it's a whole different environment that these children have to like adapt to. They very much still need a break.
And I feel bad because nowadays you have to be so careful with what you say in the school system or you will get in trouble for it. My daughter had an instance, and I'm not going to necessarily go into it, but now I feel like I have to direct them to say, you have to be like, that has to be mentally draining. It gets mentally draining for me to keep having to tell them, be careful what you say, be careful what you're playing at the playground, like, you need to be mindful. I mean, you should always be that, but it's like if there's an extra step now. Like,
I mean, people are a lot more sensitive now, because you got to think there's a lot more. I don't know what word to use. We're exposed to a lot more now than we were before.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to.
which isn't always a bad thing. It's good to be aware, but
It's not, but it is.
right.
It is because it's like now something you could say 10 years ago you can no longer say.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily technically like a bad thing,
Right.
but it's a bad thing now.
Again,
You know what I mean?
mentally draining.
Yeah, so, and I mean, me, I feel like if I need a break, somebody else need a break. You know, I can't necessarily say what I do. I mean, I have a lot of cousins, so I know that, like, them, like, going out every day, like, because I know when I was going to school every day, that was draining, super draining. You know, and sometimes our parents can be like, yeah, he ain't got nothing going on, he ain't going through nothing, you know.
For long days.
Where nothing like that, but y'all have to understand, like, sitting somewhere for 8 hours trying to take in what 6 classes worth of information can not be physically tiring, that can be emotionally tiring. Oh,
After having to wake up at the crack of dawn.
The crack of dawn,
And
for
then-
real, and then come home, still got chores, still got homework.
I feel
still
very
got
blessed. I was homeschooled. Girl.
I thought about homeschooling because this
I
world
was
is so
blessed.
scary these days. I
Yeah.
thought about
Oh no,
homeschooling.
same.
Schools are not safe no more for these children. It's like now they have to worry about active shooters and
Yeah.
things like that. So it's like not the same environment as it was when we were in school. So it's like we have to,
Sad.
you know, we have to cut these kids some slack. And people don't realize that it's so important to, like, how you talk to, like, even your own kid. No, if a kid goes to bed getting yelled at, they're gonna wake up and they're gonna have the worst day. They're not gonna have a good day. They went to sleep with their parent, like, yelling at them, like, on their brain. When they woke up, instead of saying, "Good morning, sweetie, let's get ready," you're like, "Get up, go!" Like, that starts their day. So, like, we have to be more mindful of that as well.
I think I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
Waking them up because my kids like to stay up all night. Even during school. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And so when it comes around, I'll let them sleep till 8 o'clock. Now we have to be walking to the school by like 8:20 to get them their breakfast. Four kids waking up at 8. But
Girl.
listen, I like to sleep in too. But it's like, okay, I tell you once to get up, but you're really tired from the night before. I tell you a second time. By the 4th time, I'm not necessarily yelling, but I'm being very firm. Like, you don't get your butt up out of this bed, we're gonna have a problem. Like, we gotta get you to school.
I've learned, I was like that, but I learned getting on YouTube, and I made getting up kind of fun. I'll play like this wake up song every morning. They could be
wanna be honest,
they
though?
could be the crack of dawn, like,
let me tell
sleep.
you.
I need somebody to
As soon as
do
they
it.
hear
No.
it's time to wake up.
Let me tell you,
Girl,
that made me get up. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh my
When I stay at the house, I be like, jump. Like, it gets me up. Like, for real, I think
And
it's
the
a good
kids,
time.
like,
Send
they'll
it
like,
to me. Just send it
I
to me.
will,
We
and
gonna try it.
they will wake up, because they'll like, it'll take them a minute, but once they hear, like, it's time to wake up, they'll sit up, and then, like, by the end of the song, they
The
just,
girl got her clothes on for real. I done dressed the little girl.
Yeah, like,
yeah, like it's cool
So
for
much
real.
energy.
yeah, so it's like I learned trying, like, I have, like, a little, like, YouTube wake up playlist, never fails me. Like,
Send me some.
I mean, it's not difficult for me because I'm an all day kind of person. I wake up at 7 a.m. ready to chat. Like I be fully in it. Like
no, I just
I
get
was
up.
so
I gotta
tempted.
process my whole life for a minute. I'm
When
just
y'all
like,
were like 9 o'clock, I was like, that means I gotta get up at 7. I was at 7:30. I was like, I had a text. I was like, listen, I'm not. I was like, no, don't do that. Just go. I was like, but I'm really not. No, don't do that. Just go.
look, girl, but you ain't alone. I didn't
No,
go
let me
to
tell
school
you.
like a Florida girl.
No, let me tell you how to go. I'm like, look, okay, just text in the group. So like, what you want to do? I was like, hey, it's time to get up. He was like, look, listen. That's just like, look, listen. Hey, didn't even go to sleep till 4 a.m. Just give me a second. I was like, okay. So I just kind of, and also sometimes you gotta learn when you just like leave them alone a little bit. So, but all in all, like, what do y'all feel like are some tactics to instill self-love into your children?
Affirmations.
Yeah, I was just about to say. When your kids are young, you are their voice in their head. When they're thinking, they're hearing you, not their voice yet. I don't think a lot of people understand that. So if you wake these kids up in the morning, before I send my kid, I'm pretty sure you've heard me do it. Before we go to school, I tell my kids, I am beautiful, I am handsome, I am smart, I am kind. We do like probably 10, 12 affirmations because while they're in school and they're struggling, and I tell my kids, when you're struggling, don't forget to do this. They're hearing your voice in their head.
Right.
Until they gain, especially young kids, I'm talking like young kids, until they gain, like, they're able to hear their own voice.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like,
Even as adults, like I think we still hear like someone else's voice.
I hear my therapist's voice in my head all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. When I'm starting to act crazy, I hear her all the time, like, okay, you need to settle. Like, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, the big one as well in my household is like affirmations. I always let my children know, like, you are so smart, like,
Yes.
you are so beautiful. You're going to have a great day.
Yes.
It's going to be like the best day. Like, I let them know all the time.
Yeah.
That's how they set the tone.
I mean, what's the best way to learn something? It's repetition,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what it comes down to. So my daughter's 5, and we're going through this phase, and her hair is not done, and she really likes makeup. I'm not like, she will throw a fit. I'm not beautiful, and I'm like, but that doesn't define you. Like, that's not who you are. And I wear makeup. I wear makeup. That's just who I am. I like makeup.
You're entitled to make yourself like feel good.
Right.
Just
Right.
because you wear makeup doesn't mean
Right.
you think you're any less like.
But that's what I'm trying to tell her. And
Yeah.
she has such a natural beauty, and I try to tell her, like, I love her natural hair. That's my 6-month-old. So I have Athena. She's
Oh, so
5.
her.
Yeah, Athena.
She's so pretty.
And that's what I'm trying to.
She's so sweet.
Yes, she is. And she's like the sweetest little thing. And I try to, like, and it's not braided. She needs it. I'm like, I love her hair. I love her
But
hair.
society today teaches these kids like their
You have
natural
to look a
hair
certain way.
is not like
No.
beautiful.
And I
You
don't.
have to
I will
just-
purposely, and I know it makes her feel confident when I'm trying to teach her. I will purposely not braid her hair, and we'll like do the finger curls when it's wet, and we can see we'll dry it, and I'll push it to like one side, and she loves it.
Yeah, like headbands and
Yes,
like
yes.
things
She
like
loves her
that.
butterfly clips and all of
Cause
that.
girl, what happened to? Because I got a ponytail that Bobo. Oh, these days they got silk presses, 30-inch bust downs.
Let
and
me
stuff.
tell you
Like,
something.
that
My
don't
daddy
be
kept my
cool.
hair in braids.
Girl,
I used to get teased. They used to call me bald head because they never saw my real hair. Never.
Girl,
I used to
these
keep
5
braids.
big braids my aunt used to give me. They used to call me doodle braids. Girl,
Doodle braid is crazy.
That's
for
wild.
real.
For real. Like, and I think that just because, like, I'll say like you have your own personality or whatever the case may be. Like, just because somebody doesn't understand it, that gives them ammunition to tease it in a sense. Just because I wear braids, I don't mean I'm bald head. I know people that wear a sew-in every single day of their life, but when they take that sew-in out, it's like luxurious, So I think that we have to do a better job at like allowing our kids to understand that just because we don't understand it doesn't mean we make fun of it or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And listen, kids will embarrass you.
oh,
Don't
girl,
be
your
a
kids,
girl.
your kids is
Yeah.
like they be so against you. I'm like, but come on now, like
Like having to be like, Mom,
Well, no, my
why
kids-
does your hair look like that?
Yeah, and they have no remorse. They don't care at all.
I think it's more embarrassing for me when my kids point out flaws in other people.
Oh, in their face too.
Oh.
And I'm like,
No, that makes
It
it
makes me
different.
so loud.
Hey,
Like,
mommy.
why is him so short like that?
No, that I was gonna say that reminds me when Heaven was like, "Oh, hi, little man, that little midget." Just loud, like, "Hi, little man." It's like, oh my god, it's like, girl, bring your bottle
She
here.
said, oh, mommy, it's a little man. And I'm
Yeah, like,
oh my
bring your bottle
gosh,
in.
no.
but you know what? You know what's awesome about those moments is it's teachable.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, that's
You
it.
can
Yeah.
publicly teach them.
Be like, hey, baby, that is a midget, all right? That's proper terminology.
Proper terminology with a
Yeah.
little person, So it's like
Is that proper terminology?
little person,
Little bro.
little, just call little person.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's like those moments. Like these are all moments that you can really teach.
I don't.
That.
I and they don't even need to call up that
Yeah.
flaw.
Yeah.
Hey, mom, it's a man right there. Like, hi, sir. Like, I want to get to that.
So,
But I think that takes time though, because like
It
they're
does, it
just
does.
saying what they see, you know, and
Right.
but that's also means that they're smart.
Right.
You know, they can see that.
identify when something is different.
Yeah.
My son has a lot of medical issues and is born with it. The amount of people when he used to be on his CPAP machine in the store, what's wrong with him? What's wrong? Do you know how many times, because I can put myself in their shoes, do you know how many times I wish that someone would just go up and say, hey, can I ask you, like, is he okay or what's going on? I would much rather you come up to my face and say it and then go behind my back and start talking, because that's what makes me snap.
Yeah.
And now he's becoming more aware of like other people. And what I'm trying to teach my kids is it's okay to question things, but why don't you go ask instead of making someone feel that uncomfortable about it?
Right.
I don't know, because sometimes, like just me personally, I know with me, like sometimes I can become uncomfortable with asking questions just simply
Yeah.
because I don't want to, one, embarrass, two, I don't want to make you feel away, three, like if I know you as a person, I don't want to like make you like that could be a trigger point for you or
Right.
whatever the case may be. So if I do ask, like I don't want
I
you
think
to
you have to
find
pick your
or whatever.
moments. I definitely think you
Yeah.
have to pick your moments, but being someone that was in a situation like that, I would much rather someone come up and ask me.
Yeah.
Because that just makes me want to like ready to fight at that
Don't
point.
do that, girl. We need
But
to take it.
but it needs to be taught at home too.
Yes.
Like that, there
Yes.
are going to be some people who may look a little different than you, and like this is taught at home. There are some people that you're going to see that this, that, and the third. Just because they look different doesn't mean you treat them
Yes.
any
Different,
less
yeah.
than what they are.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, she was like, Mommy, this girl in my school, she's the same age as me, and she doesn't even know how to go to the bathroom by herself. And she didn't laugh, but kids let us tell all the business.
Yeah.
And I had to tell her like heaven, baby, like some people need a little extra help sometimes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So when we see friends that need extra help, like we just try to ask them do they need help, and we help them get to where they need to be. And she said, okay, Mommy,
Yeah.
I'll help my friend.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. We also have to teach our kids to be teachable. You know, because some people aren't teachable. You know, some people teach their kids in an early age to be stuck in their ways. You know, if they don't like that about you, you know, then whatever,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. And I don't necessarily, with some stuff I can agree, but with a lot of things that are being instilled, I don't necessarily think that that's like the correct way. Like I think we have to be okay, teaching our kids to be okay with not necessarily changing who they are, but adjusting to other people's needs in a sense, like
Not completely changing who they are.
yeah, but learning to be
Accepting
I was gonna say
yeah.
other people.
accepting. Yes.
Yeah, so like if what kind of example can I give? So let's just say if you I don't know, just kind of like like I said, like accepting in a way to where I can put my pride aside or put whatever I got going on to the side to accommodate. There we go. Accommodate your needs, shall I say. So I think we have to be willing and have the energy and the time to instill that in our children as well. So,
They're just kids. That's really what it brings us. They're just kids. We're all learning, and they're especially learning.
yeah. Okay, well, I think that's going to conclude our podcast for today. Do we have any announcements?
Yes. If anybody wants to donate to the cause, you can go to Cash App, $, The Journey of Me. On Venmo, we are the Journey of Me program, and you can also find us on PayPal for the Journey of Me program.
Absolutely.
What else?
Oh, and in March, We are going to give a few prom dresses away. So if you know someone who may be in need, just let us know.
It's pretty far away yet, but